Hey guys, so as part of the series, I want to talk about the actual diagnosis and the feelings you may get from learning that you've got cancer, particularly testicular cancer. So this is more directed towards men, talking about my experience, but also um, like if you have it yourself. So I want to try and cover how you might be feeling or different types of feelings a person might have um, should it happen to you in the future. So I have notes. I'm going to quickly go through some notes and probably read some stuff and then come back. Um, so yeah, it's going to be different for each person who finds out, if they find out. You know, doesn't mean you're going to have cancer, but from the life that I have led, obviously for me, it came as a complete surprise. I was like, this wasn't part of the plan. So it was like, wow. For certain people that live a certain lifestyle, let's say, for instance, they go to McDonald's a lot, eat lots of junk food, um, buy lots of processed food, eat out a lot, lots of fizzy drinks, sugars, cakes, biscuits, and that sort of thing. It's like it comes at no surprise to them and other people when they have type 2 diabetes. It's like, well, but then when you are working diligently to live a healthy life, to then be told you have cancer, it may come as a big surprise to you. And some people, it can be very devastating. Um, it's going to vary. It's going to vary. And I've noticed how people have treated just this diagnosis with me sharing it on social media. Some people have shared personal stories of what they have gone through, or people who they know that have gone through different forms of cancer and perhaps the treatments which they have been taking during that time. And it's been like mixed energy, mixed reviews, but a lot of people um, have shared like a deep fear towards it. Um, I recently reconnected with my younger sister. We had stopped talking for a period of time. Um, wasn't my choice, but without getting too much into that, we reconnected, which was great. And she discovered that I was diagnosed with cancer. And before I could get into much detail on the treatment plan that I was on, just her whole viewpoint of cancer was just so tragic. It was so tragic. She started to express how I was like a hero to her. And, out of all the people she knew, I was the least she would have expected to be in this situation. And it almost felt like she was giving a eulogy as she was speaking to me. Like she was talking with such intensity and um, emotions, with trembles in her voice as her voice was cracking, and um, she was showing a lot of emotional instability at the time as she was talking. And then it got to the point where she started bursting out in emotions and tears. And I was thinking, but like this is curable. But in her head, she just focused on cancer and she was extremely devastated. So it is going to affect people differently. And whatever emotions needs to come out, you know, let it out. You don't want to hold those feelings in. It's very important. If there's people you need to talk to about it, then you know, have those close people next to you so you can talk to them. It's definitely something where some people may need some deep counseling. And so many people reach out to me saying, Roger, like, how are you? Not only that, but saying, I am there for you. You know, if you need anyone to speak to, please don't hesitate. Phone me at any time, that sort of thing. And it's simply because it's such big news to hear. Um, and and it's just interesting how people then show support at that moment. Um, yeah, so when you learn about that, it's all about trying to be strong, get some emotional support, speak to the right sort of people around you, family members, friends, obviously your doctor for clarity on certain things, but I guess we'll get into that. Um, okay, so when you're first diagnosed, you probably go through different processes, like a physical type of exam. They might want to, you know, push and prod certain parts of your body, testicular. Um, yeah, they would also want to check your testicles. So I want to get a good feel around it, find where the lump is, as confirmation. So probably with women, if it's breast cancer, they'd obviously want to check. Um, Anything that could be done externally, there's probably going to be some form of feeling, touching, obviously with the consent and chaperone if required. But yeah, there's normally that sort of physical testing. Um, and in this case, it could be followed by imaging like ultrasound, which is what I had, which showed the cancer cells. Um, yeah, ultrasound for abnormalities and blood tests, which often checks for tumor markers or, um, you know, inflammatory markers of some sort. And then you got other types of scans like CT. So yeah, what else? I think it's important to stay calm. For me, I guess it was quite, I don't know. I don't know why I found it easy. I almost laughed when I said a tumor. I was like, really? Me? Are you sure? I was like, it must be a mistake, been living a healthy life, but then found out, this is true. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, then how do we fix this? That was like my immediate response, really. How do we fix this? Not even because I've never been one to sit there and focus on a problem. if I see a problem, I'm like, right, I need to find out how I'm gonna deal with this situation. I need to fix it. Um, I've sometimes you can get into arguments with people, and you find some people they just want to go around and around in circles, arguing about something without trying to find a resolution. I hate having debates with these people because I'm like, okay, wait, can we stick to the point here? Like, let's try and find a resolution. And then you've got some people, they don't ever want to find a resolution. They just go around and around and around. And I've never been that sort of person. So the moment I found out, I was like, okay, so where do we move forward from here? If you can have it maybe at least close to that sort of mentality, it does make it a lot easier on yourself. Um, and or at least, find out the chances of of fixing it and just focus on that. Just focus on the fixing. I think I mentioned in the previous video, if you focus on the problem, you can't see the solution. But if you focus on the solution, you can't see the problem. It's it's just energy flows where your mind is. And as long as you focus on the right thing, then that's where your energy is, and there's less chance of you feeling depressed over it. So one thing I wanted to throw in there is it's really important to check yourself out as a man. As a man, if you are uh, even a late teen, check yourself out. You want to be feeling your testicles. I think the best time to do it is when your testicles are relaxed. You could do it in the shower, a nice warm shower, or in a bath. Um, if you have a home sauna, then that's good. Public saunas may get you arrested, probably thrown in jail as well. We don't want that. Um, but yeah, the reason why I say like warm or hot is because like this is when your testicles are most loose, soft, tender, and it's easier to check each testicle during that time. If you have a cold shower, um, you'll notice it tightens up, your scrotum tightens up, and it's very difficult to really feel for anything then because it just feels solid. Your nutsack will feel solid, and that's not the best time. So in a nice, relaxed, warm, hot sort of state, then you want to like check in a circular motion each testicle. And if you don't notice anything, great. If you do notice something, then this is an opportunity to get it looked at as soon as possible. As soon as possible. So, a couple of things. My my cancer diagnosis was written down as stage 2. I have a friend of mine who will remain anonymous because he kind of told me in privacy and in confidence. He was at stage 1. So when he felt a lump, he went to get it checked out, and they removed the testicle, and he didn't need to go through any chemotherapy at all. Stage 1, super quick, super easy surgery, removal. For men that might be unhappy about the aesthetic appeal, of the testicles if one is removed. I do believe that a synthetic one can be put in to give that visual appeal, almost like when women get silicone, you got your kind of silicone testicle. No, obviously not silicone, but I have no idea what the material is. But yeah, that would be replaced. As for the production of testosterone, I think it might be diminished because you've now got one testicle. But that's something I'm yet to learn more about. I'm going to look more into that when I start to speak to functional medicine doctors and when I start getting, blood work done and test levels and that sort of thing after treatment, but not right now. Um, so he went early. You go early, removal, quick, easy, back to your normal life. Maybe a little time out before you decide to get into any sexual activity, but the process is a lot more quicker. Stage two, three, and four, and if there's further stages, maybe it's chemo. So what I understand is with two and three, that they're very similar in terms of the type of chemotherapy which is being used and strength. But stage four, it becomes a bit more vigorous. I don't know much detail about it. This was just through me questioning the doctor that I was with. Now, one thing which I did not mention is that I could have gone when it was at stage one, could have avoided chemotherapy. I could have. About 1 year ago, I was in the shower and I was checking and I did find a lump. But my ignorant self said, yeah, but yeah, it can't be it. Can't be. I'm living too much of a healthy life to be caught up with cancer. Doesn't even make sense. That doesn't make sense to my vision. And I thought to myself, if I believe that I don't have it, then I don't have it. I'm a strong believer in like, mindset to manifest things that you want. So I try to manifest no lump, basically. However, although I was trying to do that, I was still thinking about it. Still thinking, still thinking, still thinking. I was like, this lump, it doesn't seem to be going away. But it can't be anything though. It can't be because it's me. It's impossible. And I ignored it. I was like, yeah, if I ignore it, then it doesn't exist. And, often check it. I'm like, yeah, well, it's not that though. It's not that. It can't be. It's just something else. It's just maybe just a bit of a disfigurement in my testicles. That's all. And then it started to get to a point where there was just this little humming pain, just a little bit, just a little. Then it slowly started to just get a bit more stronger and stronger as the months went on, and months just flew quickly to, yeah, maybe a year or almost a year. And then it started to get really intense. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I should do something. And then actually before that point, it did bug me for a while. And I was like, all right, let me just book an appointment just in case. I booked an appointment at the doctor. And then I had something that came up. I think it was like a filming, a job for filming. And then I canceled the appointment and then decided, nah, it wasn't important anyway. I was just paranoid. You're obviously fine. I can't remember at what point I had that made that appointment. Maybe it was a few months in because it was bugging me, bugging me, bugging me. And then after that, I was like, nah, just ignore it and it will be fine. It will eventually go. And you know what's funny? I was feeling that, over time, I started to feel this intensity, this pain, 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 pain. I was, ooh, maybe, maybe it's something. And then when I checked my testicle, I couldn't feel the lump. It was like I was feeling this pain, but the lump wasn't there. So I thought, oh, maybe it's all in my head. The lump was there and it's now gone. And it's this paranoia, where you can make yourself sick through paranoia. You can do all sorts of stuff. If you believe you have something, you can create symptoms of it, all in the mind. So this is what I was saying to myself. And I sort of ignored the pain and ignored it. And then somehow this is when the development started to happen. And then I must have had the mass started to grow in my behind my abdominal wall. And as I started to grow and grow and grow, then other symptoms, other symptoms. So your body's really smart. For instance, I mean, this is on an extreme level when we're talking about cancer. When I say your body's really smart, it's like if you just get a common cold, your body doesn't just all of a sudden give you a cold. To get a cold, your body has already been going through a lot of trouble trying to keep you well. So your body's ability to detoxify has already been compromised. So it's been fighting, 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 and now you're sick. But we don't know these things. All the background work which is going on, we don't know these things. And we generally take these things for granted. So if we get any kind of symptom, it's normally because something has been going on quite heavily in the background. And we haven't optimized ourselves enough for that to not happen. Um, and it's so difficult to pinpoint when it comes to certain cancers. With testicular, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Some people say it could just happen to anyone, but there's certain other things which is a bit more kind of direct, So, like, for instance, people who end up with lung cancer, it's very rare to get lung cancer unless you are a smoker or you are in an environment which has extreme toxic airborne, um, you know, just toxic air. you know, the things you're breathing in. If you're in like a city which has a lot of smog, yeah, It's like it all ties in and makes sense. It's like okay, got lung cancer, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Or if you're a heavy smoker, makes even more sense. And again, not exactly cancer, but if you've got diabetes, type 2 diabetes, lifestyle factor. But with testicles, it's like, don't know. Is it linked to something? A certain lifestyle? Having too much sex? Not having enough? I don't know. Bashing your nuts too much? Don't know. It's just a weird one. Could be living what you perceive to have be a healthy life, and it might not be. So, um, So if you're feeling emotional, it's okay to be scared or angry or even numb. Let yourself feel those emotions because they're all valid. Let it all out. And if you need to speak to someone, speak to someone. But the most important thing is to let it out. It's like there's this thing. It's called an energetic scale. It's called energetic scale, something like that. So you've got like depression, and then above that you got anger. So anger is like higher on the energetic frequency than depression. So if you are in depression, depression is when you're holding everything in, and it's like you're feeling all the pressure inside. In order to move up on the energetic scale, it's good to turn that internal pain into anger where you can vent and let it out. So it's just something to think about. And you got some people who's going through depression, they might call someone up and they need to vent. But then what tends to happen is people who don't like to listen to someone else complain, they might be like, oh, I don't need that sort of bad energy. So they end up cutting them off. And then these people who are in depression trying to vent and let it out with anger, they end up going from anger back down to the depressive state where they're not venting anymore. They're unable to vent. They're not able to have a place to let it out. So if you're going through that yourself, just find the people who can help you to move up that energetic scale. Don't don't hold it in. Yeah, the diagnosis is out of your hands, but the next steps aren't. Just focus on educating yourself, ask questions, and learn your, sorry, and lean on your medical team. So when you go to the hospital, you will be assigned a medical team, and you'll be given lots of numbers, and you can, yeah, you can call. There's like, hotline which you can call up to discuss any issues that you might have. Like, they're really good. They're really good. At least in UK anyway. The hospital which I go to is called Barts, which is short for Bartholomew. They specialize in cancer. And yeah, so I've got my own team that I can email frequently, can phone. There's certain individuals' numbers in the team that I can actually call to speak to a person. There's like a um, counseling section as well. So it's like really good, really, really, really good. So you're not on your own. So if you don't have friends and family that are able to support you, you could just lean on your team. They will be there for you wholeheartedly. Um, yeah, and they just link you up to all these different things. Macmillan Cancer Group. Um, there's a section in the hospital that I go to where, they've got lots of books there, and other cancer patients can go there and just sit amongst each other and share stories and just like just give like high vibrational vibes. Um, another thing is it's all about practicing stress management because you can't constantly just sit there and think about how why is life dealt you this card? Why is life so hard? Why this? Why me? Understand where you are, and from there, you need to just know that this is your situation, and focus on the direction that you need to go. It just happens in life that you're driving and all of a sudden it just traffic just appears in front of you. It's kind of is a form of traffic. You wasn't expecting the traffic to be there, but it's there. And sometimes it's a slow maneuver to get out of it. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can't remove the traffic. When the traffic is ready, it will start to free up and you'll be able to just flow through. In this case, it's a similar thing. So don't hold yourself too much on stressing about it. Learning stress management is good, and there's apps which you can get. Headspace, I think that's one. There's a company which is called um, what is it called? Nero. I can't remember. There's different companies actually, and I can visualize the products that they have, but I can't remember the names. Crazy, crazy. So there's different types of products that help to like stimulate your autonomic nervous system. So something that can stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system. Some of which come in a form of like a wristband, and um, just it works in a form of like touch therapy. So it it vibrates on your skin and and yeah, stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system. You got another one that goes around your neck. I think that's called a sensate. That stimulates your vagus nerve. Oh, what's going on? Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah, camera sort of stopped for a second. Um, yeah, that stimulates your vagus nerve. Sensate. So you can Google that. There's another one. Oh, something narrow. Narrow. Okay, and there's another one called Brain Tap. That one's a bit more expensive. Brain Tap works like there's a headset, it's a headphones that has special lights in there that somehow stimulates certain nerves in your brain. But you have this headset with a visor that has special lights as well. And it works through so many different methods to stimulate your brain through isochronic tones, binaural beats, and um, subconscious, um, just subconscious encoding types of voices. So you got an app where you can put something like meditation or like something to hypnotize yourself, and it's not like a full hypnotherapy, but it's like where there's like these little subconscious sounds um, and different things to stimulate parts of your brain. I think it comes on as a subscription service where you can like choose all these different things on the app to help with cognitive behavioral therapy and um, yeah, just a healthier brain, healthier way of thinking. Brain tap, that's called. It's a pretty amazing device. Or there's free stuff on YouTube. There's so much different guided meditations on YouTube that you can find. Um, just find a quiet room, let it play, close your eyes, listen to it. Or sometimes you might have YouTube on your TV, which has some nice visuals with it, and just like focus on the visuals whilst listening to the sounds. Sometimes these sounds come at a certain frequency to help with healing properties in your brain, and it works best if you have headphones. So maybe connecting your TV to some headphones could be a good idea. So you got the visuals and you got the binaural beats stimulating certain parts of your brain. Um, or you could just find soft music and burn a candle and focus on the candle. Um, you could yeah, do some oil burning. Just make sure it's like non-toxic, fragrant oils. There's also incense burning, which you can do, which have different ways of stimulating the mind and body. If you're into um, Palo Santos, you can burn Palo Santos and help to waft off bad energy, as well as the white sage, same sort of thing. Depends on your belief with that. Or if you're a churchgoer, you know, that could work for you. Or some sort of religious community. So if you go to mosque or a temple, then regular visits to those sorts of places may help you to be more mentally resilient. Um, yeah. So I hope you found this very useful. Um, yeah. So remember, it's not necessarily about being fearless. As a man, don't think to yourself, have to be tough. If if you're scared, it's okay. I think the world tries to teach men that they have to be really tough, they have to be stoic. Don't show any sign of weakness. And I think because of that, a lot of men are afraid to show that they're in a vulnerable state. You know, maybe that's what secretly happened to me. You know, believing, talking about, I have to be well. I can't be sick. I'm a man. I'm strong. And I booked the appointment and put a job over the appointment and tried to convince myself that I was fine. And I think a lot of guys do that. More women are more likely to seek help when they need it than a man would. They're feeling emotional about something, they'll speak to their friends. If they feel that there's a problem with their body, they will go to the doctor. Guys, not so much, which is one of the reasons why there's more men that will seek help when it's reached the late stages of cancer. Now, I could have been just like my friend, gone in, quick operation, that is it, easy. And that could be you as well. If you find it early, the success rate is in the high 90s. High 90s. So it's like almost minor, high 90s. One of the most successful um, um, treatment of cancers there are available out there. And things like breast cancer also uh, relatively easily treated, and prostate starts to get a bit more complicated as other ones start to come in. I don't know much about the others, to be honest, but you get in there early. Just don't be afraid. Just don't be afraid. You may have to let a doctor feel your nutsack, but hey, better that than you dying. Get it early, man, and it's like, oh, wow, in and out, and just living my life, you know. Anyway, I think that's me for today. Hmm. In the next video, I'll probably try and share some details on my treatment journey, or something else. All right. But if you got any questions which you have, anything that you'd like to share, if you have gone through it yourself and you have any stories, then yeah, let me know. All right. Thanks for your time.